Okay, Joshua chapter 23, Israel is getting more established in the land. They still have lots of other people living around them, okay, that are there, and even some among them that were not destroyed, as we looked in the past chapters. If you want to look those up, you can go back the past couple of chapters, like chapter 20, 21, around there, where they talk about those inheritances. And you could learn about some of those things as well. So in this chapter, Joshua exhorts Israel to be courageous. Keep the commandments, love the Lord, neither marry among nor cleave unto the remnants of the Canaanites who remain in the land. When the children of Israel serve other gods, they will be cursed and dispossessed. Very important. And one more time, they get reminded, do not get into idol worship. Don't worship other gods, basically. It's like the 9th time they've been reminded so far. Verse 1, it came to pass a long time after that the Lord God had given rest unto Israel from all their enemies round about, that Joshua waxed old and stricken in age. Again, he's probably 70s to 80s at this point. Joshua called for all Israel and for their elders and for their heads and for their judges and for their officers, and said unto them, I am old and stricken in age, and ye have seen all that the Lord your God hath done unto all these nations because of you. For the Lord your God is he that hath fought for you. Behold, I have divided unto you by lot these nations that remain, to be an inheritance for your tribes, from Jordan with all the nations that I have cut off, even unto the great sea westward. And the Lord your God, he shall expel them from before you, and drive them from out of your sight, and ye shall possess their land, as the Lord your God hath promised you. Be ye therefore very courageous to keep and to do all that is written in the book of the law of Moses, that ye turn not aside therefrom to the right hand or to the left, that ye come not among these nations, these that remain among you, neither make mention of the name of their gods, nor cause to swear by them, neither serve them, nor bow yourselves unto them, but cleave unto the Lord your God, as ye have done unto this day. For the Lord hath driven out from before you great nations and strong. But as for you, no man hath been able to stand before you unto this day. One man of you shall chase 1,000, for the Lord your God, he it is that fighteth for you, as he hath promised you. Could you imagine that? One soldier chasing 1,000 enemy soldiers, and the 1,000 enemy soldiers are afraid of that one soldier. That gives, I think that's kind of an example of the fear that those nations had against Israel. They just couldn't stop Israel. Israel was just unstoppable. Verse 11, take good heed therefore unto yourselves, that ye love the Lord your God. Else if ye do in any wise go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriages with them, and go in unto them, and they to you, know for a certainty that the Lord your God will no more drive out any of these nations from before you. But they shall be snares and traps unto you, and scourges in your sides, and thorns in your eyes, until ye perish from off this good land, which the Lord your God hath given you. Man, that's a heck of a promise that Joshua is giving them in there, or a prophecy or warning, basically. So he says, look, I've helped you out. I'm old. I've helped you to get all this land. God has fulfilled his promises to you. Yes, there are people living in some of the lands that still need to be taken over. We've got a little bit more cleaning to do on those ones, but God is going to help push those people out and take care of them with you. And there's people, some of these tribal groups living among us, okay? And he's warning Israel, it's important for you to tell your people that you are not to marry and mingle a ton with these people. You can talk with them, you can work with them, but you have to understand that their traditions are different, and we shouldn't get into their traditions, basically. And if you do intermarry among these other tribal groups that are not Israel, whether they're the ones living with us or the ones on the outskirts around us, because realize there's a whole big world still happening around Israel. So they're being warned, don't mingle with them. Basically, don't associate with them, but don't adopt their philosophies, don't adopt their culture. You are the culture of God. God has a plan for you. You need to be separate and different from everybody else. So don't look like them, don't dress like them, don't do what they do, basically. And don't marry them. You can't intermarry. And if you do, these people are going to be a thorn in your scourge in your side, a thorn in your eyes. They'll be a trap and a snare. So basically, if you don't, these people are going to be your downfall. They're going to make life miserable for you. And maybe not directly miserable for you, but your life eventually, or the life of your descendants, is going to be miserable because of these people. So, most likely because they've caused you to commit sin, and now you're not blessed of God, and so now you're not being protected and helped by God, which means life's going to get worse. So that's what's going on here. Verse 14, he says, "Now behold, this day I am going the way of all the earth, and ye know in all your hearts and in all your souls that not one thing hath failed of all the good things which the Lord your God spake concerning you. All are come to pass unto you, and not one thing hath failed thereof. Therefore it shall come to pass that as all good things are come upon you, which the Lord your God promised you, so shall the Lord bring upon you all evil things, until he have destroyed you from off this good land which the Lord your God hath given you. When ye have transgressed the covenant of the Lord your God, which he commanded you, and have gone and served other gods, and bowed yourselves to them, then shall the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and ye shall perish quickly from off the good land which he hath given you." So Joshua's giving them this warning, going, I'm old, I'm about to die, I'm about out, basically, my time is done. But I want to warn you, if you stop worshiping God, if you start worshiping idols, false gods, anything else, you are going to be punished, and you're going to lose this inheritance. And it's not going to be good. Not going to be good at all. Your descendants are going to hate you for going into idolatry, basically. So he's promising them and warning them of this, which again, I don't know how many times Moses warned the people about this. We see in Leviticus and Numbers and Deuteronomy, we see tons of that. So Joshua's warning them again, do not get into idolatry. And at the time, they had a seriousness about avoiding idolatry in the example in the last chapter of them worried that Gad and Reuben, the tribe of Gad and Reuben, half Manasseh on the other side of Jordan, were getting into that kind of thing when they built that great altar, that memorial. So they got to be very careful with this, their situation. And so very important, wise words for Joshua. Let's jump to the next chapter, which is probably, out of all the chapters in Joshua, this next chapter is probably the most famous chapter in the book of Joshua, and probably one of the most famous in the entire Old Testament. And we're going to talk about it.